You're tuned in to Joey C. and Lou the Monster in the evening. They're the evening guys. Let me tell you about them. Joey C. back from sunny Tampa, stepping out of the steel cage. And now on every frequency at night, a two-time heavyweight champion of radio, the mighty mic-wielding maestro, the sound, the vibe, the one, the only, the myth, the man, the gin, this evening, tomorrow evening, forever. And let's not forget his partner in prime time, Lou the Monster, the twin titans of Twilight, Joey and Lou, masters of the mic, rulers of the airwaves. What am I talking about? Towers of talk, mountains of mayhem, and a hurricane of funk blasting straight through your speakers. Joey and Lou, bringing cheer to the fans and trolls alike. Their voices are soundtrack of your nocturnal escapade, guiding the restless and the routed with dulcet tones and untamed truths. And in the evening, it's just like evening, because somewhere it's always evening. Your daily breakdown, your nighttime recharge. I need it. You need it. The whole world, stuck in its cosmic traffic jam, needs it. And now it's time for the show. Joey C. and Lou the Monster in the evening. Let's go!
That's a fact, Jack. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the evening show with Joey C. and Lou the Monster, my partner. Tonight is baseball night. I got a dear friend, a man that I met some 27 years ago when he was a young man. He's a graduate of University of Delaware. He was the NCAA. He knocked 33 home runs and knocked 72 runs when he was in the NCAA. He signed with the Texas Rangers, I believe, in 1999, I believe. Here he is, without further ado, my dear friend, former 8-year Major League with 2 consecutive years in a row of over 20 home runs in the Major Leagues. 8 years. He spent 8 years in the big leagues. My friend and former Major League player, Kevin Mench. What's up, Menchie?
That intro, I swear, I was about to fall asleep. It just kept talking about you two and how great you guys are and everything. I'm like, wow. Was I watching? I feel like I was watching Casino or Mobsters.
Yeah, that Lou was responsible for that one. Our good friend who thought it was fit me and him. We're both in Tampa here. Yeah, it's a pretty wild. Menchie, it's been many years. The last time I think I saw you was 2010, 15 years ago. About right when you ended before you went to Japan, wasn't it?
No, I was done. After 2010, I retired.
Yeah, that's right. So that's the last, because you had a final stint. You came back to the Rangers, didn't you?
Yeah. No, Washington. I finished in
Washington. That's right. Because I was with the Nationals in 13 and their A-ball in Hagerstown.
Okay.
And I went there with Kelvin. Kelvin brought me over.
Yeah. Calvin's the head guy in Atlanta now, right?
He sure is. All the Manassian kids. Look at Perry's a general manager. Kelvin's a clubhouse manager in the big leagues, and Zach, isn't he a player development director or something?
Yeah, I think so. Not sure where.
Unbelievable, man, what he did with his boys. So here we are, Kevin Mench, a great friend, a great player. Let's just talk baseball, buddy.
Yes, sir. Never graduated, by the way.
I thought you did graduate because you were drafted. Am I right? 99 was the year you were drafted?
Yeah.
So I got the information. And you were, I believe, the 4th round?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Menchie, when I first met you, you were a young guy, strong guy. You have the nickname Shrek. Tell us about how you got that nickname.
That's Rusty Greer's fault. Rusty started that whole thing. So 2002, we were spring training, and Rusty was trying to quit dipping, right? So he would have all these nicotine patches. I mean, he'd have probably 30 of them. I mean, it was, and then he had this bag full of candy that we would take out. We'd put it was a glove bag, but he would have it full of candy. So we're out there at stretch, and I'm just sitting there, I'm eating it as we're stretching and stuff, and he's talking all this noise. And I don't know what brought it about. He said something about, you look like Shrek and this and that. I'm like, what are you talking about? And then he just kept talking about it. He goes, I said, it'll never stick. So he goes, fuck you. And then after we were done, he went over and told the media. And ever since that point, that's how everybody's known me.
That's awesome, man. I mean, I that's how I remember you. I think I remember that spring training. We were in Arizona then already, weren't we?
No, 2002 was our last one in Florida.
Charlotte, that's right. That's when I joined the Rangers in 2001. Chris Guth and I came over. And we spent Fort Charlotte. That's when I first met you. You were a young kid then. You were about 20, 21 years old back then.
Gosh.
I remember, man, you were a powerhouse.
Half my life ago, Joe. Gosh.
You ain't lying about that, man. We go back.
My hair still hasn't grown back.
I see that. And make point out that Kevin has one of the largest heads in baseball. Size 8.25 helmet, 8 hat. We had the special order his helmet in the minor league. I don't know what Zach had to do. I know he had to.
Internet's 100% truth. You're just reading all this stuff off the internet. It's all lies.
I was part of that, so I knew that without reading that on the internet.
Yeah.
You spent 8 years in the big leagues. You were originally drafted by the Rangers. We spent some time before you went to the big leagues, and you played. Like I said, you had 2004, 2005. You hit 26 home runs in 04, 25. Talk a little bit about your early years with the Texas Rangers. Some of your fondest moments, player-wise, with players on the field, off the field, with Buck Showalter. Can you touch on any of that?
Good old Buck. Buck was different for sure. I mean, you've been around, and he had a great knowledge of the game as far as the rule book. I mean, he knew that thing front to back. He just knew it. It just, I don't know. It seems like if you look at his track record with the teams that he's always managed, right? They get to a certain point with him, they let him go, then these teams go on to win, right? Started with Arizona.
Seems to be.
Right. Then he comes to us, right? He was doing some TV, comes to the Rangers, right? They had to go to World Series. Goes to, I'm sorry, start with the Yankees, all right? Yankees, they go, then he goes to Arizona, then Texas, then.
Yeah, he went one world. Was it Baltimore after Texas?
Baltimore, and then the same thing. So that's what I mean. I don't know what he's not doing to get past that juncture of what he's doing. But I mean, it was he's different for sure. Like I said, he didn't like me too much because I always pushed back with him, and I think he likes a lot of the veteran guys did. And and that's what I was fortunate enough when I was coming up. I had a lot of veteran guys. You saw, those were probably 10+ year vet guys that I was there with. And then you had the youngsters, myself, Hank,
Nix.
Teixeira, Nix. I see that.
Jason Hart.
Do what?
Did A-Rod play with you guys?
Yes, A-Rod. Alex was with me for 2 years. They traded him after the 03 season for Soriano. Pudge left after the 2002 season. Juan left, went to Detroit. Did he? 02 or 03?
Yeah, I think it was 03. 03 it was. I think it was.
Yep, Rafi. And then they bring in Chan Ho. They bring in Kevin Millwood.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there was always a lot of veterans. Ismael Valdez, Jay Powell. Kenny was there for a while.
Yep.
A lot of older guys that I kind of gravitated towards, trying to learn, trying to follow the game and be a part of that. So, I mean, there was a lot. And then it was just a bunch of us rookies. I think Aaron Mayette was one of them. Hafner was there for a little bit before.
Mario Ramos was down there.
Yeah, Ramos, Adrian Gonzalez.
Yep.
There's a lot of them. So I mean, it's a whole smorgasbord of guys, players wise, that were around, and we just, it was one of those things. It's a good learning experience. I missed half of 03 with a broken wrist, and then come back in 04 and 05 and have good years. Sawyer was there. Then they brought in DeLucci, Gary Matthews.
DeLucci, good guy.
Wilkerson, Brian Jordan, Eric Young, brought those guys in. Barajas was there for a while.
Yep.
Laird. So, I mean, we had a good group of guys, and we always just had I think once we learned what it was like to actually, what it felt like, just to be consistent with everything. And I think 04 or 05. We were in it until the last week of the season, and then they go out. And so, I mean, we were, you said just a bunch of kids having fun. I mean, you saw us coming through the minor leagues. We just
That's right.
a bunch of goofy kids. And game has completely changed now from when we were
Oh,
playing. Sure.
My God. You made some key players that came up. You guys were a great group of guys. I spent a lot of time in AAA. Had a lot of fun up there. We had a great team. We were under one of the greatest, to me, out of all the years in the minor leagues I worked. I don't think anybody was better. I think you'll agree. The great Bobby Jones.
Oh yes, by far. Bobby Jones.
Bobby Jones, motherfucker. Bobby Jones.
He could turn the whole sentence into one word.
Yeah.
The best manager ever, by far. He was just Vietnam vet. He couldn't hear a dump truck driving through a nitroglycerin plant, but he would have some of the funniest stuff you would ever hit. Him, and remember Mo Hill?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Good old Elmore Hill.
Yeah.
Mo's fingers were one finger about that thick. They were like sausages.
Yeah.
He had the biggest hands in the world.
Yeah.
He reached out to me the other day, I think on Facebook maybe. I'm like, Elmore Hill? He's still kicking from Gastonia, North Carolina.
Wow.
So,
now,
Joey, how do you want to do the 2 super chats related to baseball?
We'll get to him. We'll get to him about let's talk with him a little bit. About 10 minutes. We'll read some super chat. I remember some of the fondest teams at AAA. We were stacked, man. We won a division almost every time we played in AAA. But when it came to September, they would pull all our guys up, and we struggled in the playoffs because we had no team. I remember that one year we had Laird catching. You were there. Jason Hart was there.
Ludwig.
Ryan Ludwig was there. These were all guys that played.
Jason
in the big
Romano.
league.
Romano was there.
That's right. We had. My memory. I try to remember as much as I can. I'm 60 years old now, and I forget a lot of things. But I had a lot of fun when I traveled with the AAA team. I don't know if you were gone. I think you went on a couple. I think you were there when I went on the road that year, because I think you were part of the great debacle at the Dallas airport when Ellis bought me that pimp suit, that white. You remember the suit with the hat?
I remember this. I remember the suit vaguely. I can barely remember last week, Joe. I forget. Trying to think about that whole.
Where were we in New Orleans, and we were in New Orleans, and me and Ellis were hanging out.
Okay, I'd never been to New Orleans.
That's right. So, you were already gone. I think you were already in the big leagues.
Yeah. Okay.
It was Laird and Danny Ardois. We had.
Ardois.
He gave up baseball after he played. He became a. Danny, how many kids did he have? 13, 15 kids he had? I don't know.
Yeah, he's still selling real estate down in Louisiana or something.
Yeah, that's what he's doing. Yeah. Remember we went, you never got to go to, we went down every time we went to New Orleans. That's where he's from. His family would come out and bring out crawfish out to the ballpark, and we'd have this after the games, and it was unbelievable.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was something else after a while, man. I had a lot of good times with him and Laird.
I'm trying to think of all the other guys. Remember Rocker was there for a little bit?
I talked a little bit about Rocker. That one night, Rocker came up to me, and I had just met him, and he was a pretty intimidating guy. And John Allgood, the assistant general manager, told me Rocker's coming in, So Rocker had Allgood's phone number to call him to get in the gate, the parking lot at AAA. Rocker was circling the ballpark for 30 minutes. No one let him in. Finally, he got a hold of the clubhouse and got to my phone line. And he said, "You the clubhouse manager?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "I've been circling this ballpark." So I let him in. He goes right up to the 3rd floor and fucking cusses out the fucking general manager. He comes down to me. He goes, "I'm going to tell you something right now. You tell anything I do in this fucking game, I'll kill you." He says, he goes, you don't tell the press anything. And I'm like, "Okay, man. Hey, listen, I'm on your team, buddy. I'm with ask anybody about me. I'm solid as a rock. I've been around a long time." And it was funny because Rocker was a pretty intimidating guy, but he turned out to be a decent guy. He was a fun guy.
Talking about John Rocker?
Yes, the great John Rocker, yes.
Well,
did you see that whole thing at the Super Bowl?
Yeah, I've seen the clips.
Did you see it, Lou?
Yeah, I've seen some clips. He got into it with Patrick Mahomes' dad. And supposedly they set up a fight that's going to happen in a couple of months.
I saw that.
April 18th, I think is what I heard.
Yeah,
that was all. From not hearing, it was all staged as far as the fight, but I don't know how much is going on with all that.
That's wild, man. Rocker, I couldn't believe, because he was pretty quiet for a few years, and all of a sudden he's on Twitter now. He's like a mouthpiece on Twitter every morning.
Oh, I talk to him once in a while. He's funny as anything. Oh my god, he just wears his emotion on his sleeve. He's gonna tell you how it is. He just doesn't care.
That's right. Do you remember? Were you in the clubhouse when we got Bobby Jones that we made that T-shirt for him? The players. It said "motherfuck, fuck," and it like because he repeated himself saying the F word every time. Like that's all I was at. Bobby Jones was the greatest manager. He knew how to handle his players.
Yeah.
He wasn't a jerk to them. Everybody wanted to play for Bobby. You know, there's managers I've been on teams that he couldn't jumpstart the team. He had all the talent in the world, but he just was an asshole, and guys wouldn't play for him. Bobby Jones was the opposite. He was just man, oh man. I mean, Lou, when I tell you, we're at a restaurant on the road. It was him, Mrs. Jones, Glenn Abbott and his wife, who were conservative church people. Jonesy and I'm sitting in the booth behind them because we just got into town and we were late, so we had to hurry up and eat to get to the ballpark. And Bobby Jones turns around after eats. He goes to Mrs. Jones, "You ready to go? We gotta get back to the room. Go fuck." Just like that. That's what he said. And Glenn Abbott turned the fucking shade of red. And Glenn's wife, a conservative church person, they just looked at each other, and that's how Bobby was. I mean, that's hands down how he was. You can't explain it no better.
He grew up the town next to me in Elkton, Maryland.
That's right. He did.
Yeah, right across basically right across the highway from Newark. So Bobby Jones, he's still living in Tulsa. I mean,
that's where he met Debbie. Debbie's from Tulsa, I believe, and you know, that's the love of his life. You know, Bobby was a crazy Vietnam vet who was Nolan Ryan's roommate in the minor leagues. Him and Nolan were like this. I mean, that was his boy. But Bobby, they sent him off good when he retired. They bought him his favorite car, the '65 Mustang the Rangers did when he retired. They presented it to him, so that was good to see that. I've lost touch with him. I think he stayed retired, but he came back as a consultant for the Rangers. He was with the Rangers his whole career, like 20.
I don't know. I got his number if you want. I'll text it to you.
Yeah, it said I lost an old phone. I used to call him all the time. Yeah, give me that. Let's talk a little bit about some of your accomplishments in baseball. I mean, you were just a powerhouse guy, man. I mean, you could tear a ball up. We're going to show a highlight of you. You could also do some defense. I'm going to key this up. I don't know if you remember this fight.
You found defensive footage of me?
Yes.
Wow.
And I think it's something to be proud of, but I want you to watch this.
Absolutely throws.
You have to rewind it.
Oh, yeah.
Look at this toss.
Here we go.
Like that. It'll be tough to put it in play.
Pedro Estacio.
Puts it in play hard.
You just nailed this guy.
Mench gets to it in a hurry and gets it back in. A strong throw from Mench. Right on the money. Nailing Juan Uribe.
Sit down, Juan.
Juan Uribe.
A good throw.
Taking hard all the way, but Kevin Mench.
You got to send that clip to me, too.
I will. No problem.
Let me see this. Let's see.
Yeah, look at this. Dude, I mean, you were on the point.
Oh, look at it. Right from the...
A bullet.
I know Juan Uribe had to say to himself, what
is
going on here?
Look at this. Love it.
Sometimes, a guy has a pretty good arm, but you still want to try and get.
That was amazing.
That's a hell of a throw.
What?
Wow.
What?
I can't find it. Where'd you find it? Where'd you dig that up?
On YouTube. I put in Kevin Mench highlights and it came up.
Really? Jeez, I had to find some other ones because there were some other ones. The one year I strained my oblique throwing out Alex at home playing the Yankees in Texas in 04. Yeah, throwing him out at home. I threw him out at home and strained my oblique.
Now, is this true? I read this today, actually. I didn't know. All your life, you thought you were a size 12 shoe. It turned out that you were really 12, and this caused you some grief in your career, didn't it?
That's when that whole home run streak started. Was basically said was after I changed my shoe size.
Right.
So what had happened so if you think about it, when we were growing up, shoes, if you wanted a half size, you had to special order shoes.
Right.
Right. It was either a 12 or a 13, and I wasn't fitting into 13. There was too much room, so my parents were jamming me in 12s. So that's how this whole thing started. Was that way, and then all of a sudden we were playing in Tampa, and I remember running to first base, and I stepped on first, and my toe I think just popped out, dislocated, tore the ligaments off of it.
Ooh.
And I think the only thing at one point basically holding on was the skin. So, and that would happen in 05. I played with it. I would try and get shot up before the game. It would last till about the 7th inning, and when that stuff wore off, boy, oh my gosh, you talk about some pain. And it was the second toe because I always hear a football player get turf toe. Ah, you big bunch of wusses. But and it's always on the big toe. Mine was on the second toe. So now my second toe is permanently sits like this. So it was 05. No, it was 06 during the streak. So it happened. I was in Anaheim. I was in the. This is a story Kinsler probably gonna kill me. To hear this story. So we were in Anaheim, and I was in the hotel lobby waiting to head to the airport. And Kinsler the night before had dislocated his thumb.
I remember that.
So we come back in. He comes into the hotel, into the lobby, and he's wearing scrubs. I'm like, what? I'm like, where's your clothes, dude? He said when they went to set his thumb, he passed out and pissed himself.
Oh shit!
So he got back. So Kinsler would probably kill me if he hears that story. But yeah, so that's what. And I went home that night. Went to see Meister. He stuck the needle in between the toes and underneath it. I almost kicked him off the table. Get that shot. Fly to Seattle the next day. I think we had a night game, and I hit a ball off the top of the wall. It was about that far from going out. I ended up with a double. Broke my bat, and then the streak started the next night.
Yeah, and I don't know if anybody has touched the record since you did it, but you were the first right-handed.
Mike Trout tied me in Cleveland where I set the record.
Okay.
Which is all good because he's a Philly boy. He's an Eagles fan. So that couldn't be better. Couldn't be better doing it that way. So,
excuse me. I'm going to touch on a little bit. I don't want to too much. We all have had our A-Rod experiences. I mean, for the most part, outside of one little incident I had with him, he was like you. I watched an interview that you did where they asked you that question, and you were one of the few people that had nothing but positive things to say about Alex Rodriguez. I'd like to touch on that a little bit. Your thoughts on when you played with Alex and what he was to you as a mentor.
Alex looked after me when I was there. Took me under his wing. We always hung out, did things. We did a lot of stuff together, hung out. We would always go out to eat, and we're on plane trying to figure out what we're going to do. Always hung out with him. And Alex had his little group of guys that he hung out. These two Cuban guys, Pepe and Guy. Yep. And that was it, really. But I was fortunate enough to be in that group with them, to know them. I mean, I go to Miami, spend some time with Alex. We still talk to this day. I know he's busy with, they just purchased the Timberwolves and the Lynx, so him and his group. So, I mean, very, proud of him for what he's done with, after baseball. Think about it. He never went to college. I mean, he drafted out of high school, but, goes back, gets a degree. I think he ended up getting a degree in business. And look at what he's done with everything. So, I mean, and people can say, I think somebody asked me that a couple weeks ago, is Alex is he an ass? I said, if he's sitting here with me because he knows I trust, the people around me, he would actually have a conversation with you. But they talk about the same thing about Michael Jordan. If they let them into their little world, right now you've let everybody in, and you can't do that. You just can't, because it's just the mentality that they have, and it's tough. It's for athletes. I remember going places and people just, I'm walking with them and I'm just getting pushed out of the way because they're trying to get to Alex. Right. So, but he's just making a beeline to wherever it is, because if not, right, it just continues just to multiply the amount of people that are there. And I can see why people would say that. He's bad. You just you don't get it. You have to just put yourself in his shoes for a minute and understand. And I think that's why he needed to be in New York. The biggest stage in the world. He needed to be there.
I agree. Alex he treated everybody. He always, like you said, he always smiled. He was always on point to his workouts. When he came to the Rangers and Buck was there, Buck didn't like veteran guys. People don't understand Buck's way. Buck did not care for veteran guys. He believed in the minor league system and developing guys. I know he was head over heels over Lance Nix. He raved about Nixie. I remember I was in a conversation with Buck where it was all of us it was after spring training, and we were all sitting there drinking because Buck liked to drink vodka. What was it? Grey Goose. He had to have that was his drink. And we were sitting there, and it was Guth and I and the coaches and Oral Hirschheiger and Buck. And I don't know if he had one or two too many. He goes, he was visualizing Nixie naked at the plate because Nixie was so built. And he's like, I could watch him naked hit the home run. He just liked the way Nixie was built. And I'm like, wow. I mean, we're all tipsy then, but I mean, that's the kind. But one day he called me because Guth would always leave, and I had to be there because Buck stayed late. He'd get there at 5 a.m. He'd leave midnight. You know, so someone had to stay at the ballpark with him. And he called me in the office. He goes, "You got anything to eat?" And I go, "I don't think I'll run up." "No, I don't make it." And he'd bring me over and we sit there and he goes, "You want a drink?" And he walked me to the locker room and he told me, "Look at that locker." And he had me staring in lockers and he's just analyzing. He goes, what do you gather from that player there?" I go, "I don't know. He's a slob." I mean, the guy does. He goes, "That's my point." He says, "If the guy could keep imagine what his house and his car looks like." He goes, this is his mentality. If a guy wasn't neat or on point with his locker, how he put his locker, his clothes hung up, or how the clubhouse, because certain guys were meticulous about how they, even after we hung up stuff, it'd be, you know, everything would be the way they wanted it. But guys that were sloppy, but he started talking about, I'll never forget the night he told me, he goes, "I'm getting rid of A-Rod, I'm getting rid of guns." He goes, I want to use all the younger guys. And that's how he did it. And I think when you said earlier, what was his missing formula? Because he shredded a lot of teams, but he built championship teams, but he always failed that 1 or 2 years short to get fired, is because they just didn't believe in him enough to go that hump, you know. But there's nobody. I never met any. I've been around baseball. I spent 33 years between the major leagues. Ever met a guy more thorough? And this is a guy he'll read every stat on a player and never forget that player's stat. And never met the player and go up to he'd know the player by name. This guy was so detail oriented about stats and what players did and how they were signed, what their mother and father, about their whole family. This guy just knew. And a lot of people didn't like Buck. And Buck was a no-nonsense guy. If you it didn't matter what job you did in the clubhouse or as a player, as a coach, if you didn't put 110% in, he didn't want you around. That's the type of guy he was. And Bobby Jones, you know, was such as just. I love Bobby to death. I mean, that man was just God. When John Lombardo fired me in 2005, because Grady Fuson left, and I came over with Grady and Trey Hillman, and Guth came over with Trey Hillman. 5 years later, John Daniels called me when Nolan Ryan fired. I don't know if you've heard about. Lombardo got fired during the 7th inning at a home game. Ryan went in there and told him to clean his office out. He was fired. This was during the game. I got called from because in 2005, I don't know. Did you get along with Lombardo? I mean, you were.
He was our minor league director.
Correct, and he was my boss. You know, Guth was my boss, but he was Guth's boss, and which made him my boss. He dogged anybody that was below him. He treated us like garbage.
Really?
Yeah, he was just. And I would go to Guth and complain. He said, "Boombots." Of course, you remember my great name, Boombots. Boombots, fight the battles you could fight. I'll fight the battles I could fight. And I got fired, and I bitched for 5 years to everybody. And John Daniels go, "I owe you an apology. We should have never let you go. We want to offer you to come back in 2010 with the Rangers, AAA." And I went back. I left the Detroit Tigers, getting ready to be the full-time minor league guy after spring training. I gave that up to go back with the greatest year I could ever spend with Bobby Jones that year. And the team got sold. The AAA team got sold, and a new franchise comes to Houston. I had a bad rapport with Houston. As soon as they found out I was a clubhouse guy, they said I was the first one to be fired. So I gave up. I made a bad choice and left the Tigers to go back to the Rangers. Because the Rangers, out of all my years I worked, was my favorite time working with you guys, man. I was around you. I was around so many great guys. Daryl Kennedy, you remember him? He was a manager.
DK last year up here in Frisco. He's coaching with Midland. Double
really?
A. Yeah.
Is that affiliate ball or is that independent?
Yeah. No, Double A. Double A for the A's.
Okay.
Midland Rockhounds.
So because Grady's still with the A's, so I wonder if Grady brought him over there.
Could be. I was trying to think about all those guys that were still there beside DK. Fred Dabney.
Yeah, Fred Dabney. I remember. Yep. Fred Dabs.
Yeah. I forgot about a bunch of those guys that are still hanging on.
Yeah.
Luber. Was it Luber? No, Luber was our Double A pitching coach.
Steve Luber, the pitching. Wasn't he pitching coach?
Yes, pitching coach. Yep, Lubes.
Yeah, Lubes. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
We had Kobe Lewis. I mean, you remember Kobe Lewis?
Kobe and I was roommate. He was the first guy I met in pro ball. We were roommates all the way through the big leagues.
Great guy. I'll never forget when he got engaged. He called me up. He goes, "I got a special delivery coming tomorrow. It's the engagement ring that he was going to ask his wife to marry him, and it was worth like $25,000." And he goes, he was nervous wreck. You guys had went on. I don't know if you were still with the team or if you were already in the big leagues. He went on the road and he called me every hour to make sure I got that. and I got it. I put it in the safe upstairs. I mean, he goes, I spent like $25,000 on that ring, and Kobe, have I ever let you down? He goes, no, buddy. I just, it's gonna be there it's gonna be there, buddy. And yeah, it was a nice rock. I'll never forget that, man.
Gosh, remember Johnny Witt?
Chats,
huh?
John Witt.
Read some of these chats.
John Witt?
Yeah.
No, I don't.
Clubhouse guy in Port Charlotte.
Oh, wait a second. I think I do. Johnny. Yeah, I remember Johnny.
Yeah, Johnny Witt. All we used to have peanut butter and jelly. That's all we never had to eat.
PBJ. Yeah. We're going to touch on some of the clubhouse thing. I'm going to read some of these super chats, buddy, to interact with some of the people. And if you guys got any questions you want to ask Kevin, feel free. We'll take any constructive questions. Kevin is, like I said, it's not easy to make it to the big leagues and stay there. That's one of the hardest things. Getting there is the greatest defeat. It's the greatest thing to graduate from the minor leagues, but to stay there, that's another thing you got to do. So we'll touch on that in a minute. Nice podcast, stupid. Thank you for the $2. Hey, Kev, who was bigger prick, A-Rod or Canseco?
I've never met Canseco. I heard he was, but A-Rod there was no problem ever for me with Alex. But I've heard some stories about Canseco for sure.
Yeah, and we'll touch on a little bit on that too. I got a couple questions. Mike Shitty and a provider, one of our dear chatters and a friend to the channel. Great guy. Kevin, have you ever played a game with Mark Lewis?
Mark Lewis. That name sounds familiar. Why?
Yeah.
Though. Lou, who is that? Google it.
Lou, we want you to. Mark Lewis is part of the Dabbleverse, which is what we call our community, which is, like I told you, all the ex-Howard Stern employees and a bunch of comedians like Bob Levy, Chad Zumock, Anthony Cumio. I don't know if you remember Anthony Cumio and Opie, Anthony and Opie show back in the day in the 90s. I don't know if you ever watched it. They were like Howard Stern's competition. So we're in this world, and Mark Lewis is a
no. There's a baseball player named Mark Lewis.
Yeah, right. This is the guy that is a chatter who was a big. He would come into these chat rooms and he was like donating big money to some of the big podcasts. And
really?
With Kevin Brennan. And I looked his stats up. He sat on the bench most of his career. He had some moments in the big leagues, but he would come after me and he called me out and said, I lied. I never worked in baseball. He don't know nobody that knows. I go, buddy, I got 33 years in the mind. I could bring you 1,000 players tomorrow to back me up. He would just dog me because this Dabbleverse is a little different than.
Who is he? Who did he play for? What years?
Okay, so according here, he was drafted in '88 for the Cleveland Indians.
Right.
Round 1, overall pick number 2.
Right.
Oh, wow.
He debuted in April of '91, and he's a career home run hitter of 48, had 306 RBIs, 29 stolen bases, a career average of 263, 2,795 at bats.
Sounds like a second baseman.
He was.
Okay.
Second baseman.
Called it.
Sorry. I mean, that was the second baseman that I played with. That's why I'm like, that name sounds. Did he play for the Giants?
Yes, I believe he did.
That's why I think I remember the name.
Yes, he played for the Giants. Yes, he did.
Okay.
Now,
no, I did not play against Mark Lewis.
Yeah, but he makes himself up like he's this. I think he's still a coach in baseball or a manager in the minor leagues, possibly. But he was dogging a lot of people. He would always. I understand it. This is everybody's a comedian, and it's all about joking around in this place. But when I look at the stats, I go, buddy, I looked your stats up for as far as the clubhouse guy and then player development and working at player development. You tanked as a first rounder, as far as I can see. I mean, you didn't start every day, and you didn't bring out no big numbers, And he would go round and round. But I heard he just vanished. I don't know. I haven't seen him in the Dabbleverse. Let's get on to the next one here. We got nice podcast, stupid. Hey, Kev, how prevalent were roids in Texas clubhouse?
I never saw any of that stuff.
Exactly.
I don't think that when you played it was big yet.
No.
Yeah. So Mike Shitty Internet Provider wants to know, did you have any pregame rituals?
Not really. I didn't, nothing was, it's usually just a routine. There was nothing ritualistic I did other than just, in the on deck circle. I didn't think, like, after the first pitch, I'd make sure I bend over and kind of just stretch my legs, pull my pants down to my shoes, and go from there. There was nothing There were some things going on, Joe, you remember the old thong guys would wear if they were feeling sexy? They'd have to wear the thong or something. Oh, yeah. So the people would do that.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's first.
Yeah, that. But no, I never
Okay.
wore the thong. I never felt sexy enough to wear it. But yes, it did get washed. But no, guys wouldn't wash their socks.
There's one here. Where is it? Oh, here it goes from Mr. Nice Podcast, Stupid. Hey, Kev, how good was Joey at washing jock straps?
I never wore one, so I didn't bother me, so I couldn't tell how he was doing it back there. He must have done a pretty good job for 30 some odd years.
Yeah.
Zach taught you well, didn't he?
I got a lot of Zach taught me a lot of great things, but I tell you, who polished me, like I started in the big leagues as a bat boy, which was great fun. I was around some of the greatest players in the game. I mean, in the end of the 70s and 80s, there was by far a lot of Hall of Famers and I worked in the visiting clubhouse, so I was around a lot of Hall. But who polished me? Chris Guth. Chris was top notch.
Yep, Guthy. Good old Guth. He came over from Arizona, right?
Right. He came up. Well, he was when Buck got fired. He got fired, and then when Buck got to the Rangers, Buck wanted him to be the major league guy, but Zach had too much juice there. They were moving Zach out.
Yeah.
So then there was talk about Goofy going to the visiting clubhouse, but they weren't moving out. I forgot what was his name. Kelly. They were moving out Kelly, and Dave Bales has been there for 40 years. You're moving Dave Bales out.
Dave Bales is still there.
He's still there. Yeah. He's still there. And I asked Dave a long time ago, and Dave and I, we had a lot of great moments. He just said, I'm an assistant. I don't want to be the head guy. He's one of the best assistants in the game. There's nobody could top Dave Bales.
Yeah.
The guy was phenomenal.
Bales just didn't have the personality for it, then because Hoggy took over after Zach. You got to have a personality.
Yeah.
Bales just doesn't have that personality for it.
Correct. Well, Hoggy was with the Rangers for years, and he was in the PR umpire room, and then they brought him in. But now Brandon Boyd is and
Hoggy's back over with the umpires, and then Mason is the head guy on the visiting side now.
Mason, okay. So they got rid of Kelly.
They fired Kelly up 3 years ago.
Wow, he got a lot of years in too. And we got one more here. This is my dear friend from New York, Rick from New York. Good evening, boys. Thank you guys so far. Let me check the super. We have
trying to get to all the ones related to baseball.
Did we get them all? I think there's a bunch more. There's a bunch.
Somebody asked me about aerodynamics.
He's asking if he shaves his head for aerodynamics.
It makes it easier just to get. I don't have to worry about combing it. I can look. It's clean. I don't have to worry about it.
We got Nice Podcast Stupid. Hey, Kev, any good road beef slump buster stories?
We're retired now, so it's been many years. I think if you want to tell any of your great stories, you can. I mean, it's up to you.
Oh, my goodness. Wow.
Oh, that's a good one right here.
What?
So, Mike Shitty Internet wants to know if you ever played a prank on a rookie.
Yeah, they did the hot foot. I think they did that. That was one of the big ones, was the hot foot one. They'd always do that. I know they made this, they always did the rookies had to dress up. Right. That was the big thing. The one time we were in San Francisco, they put all the rookies in dresses and dropped them like 5 blocks from the hotel and made them walk.
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
All the way back. I had to sign autographs in a halter top, a pink halter top with a blue mini skirt, and hide these pink boots outside of Yankee Stadium. So when you walk out Yankee Stadium, there's like 300 fans to the left, old Yankee Stadium. So I had to go there and sign autographs for like an hour. And then I had to serve, and then on the flight home, I had to serve food in the damn dress and these plastic boobs that were digging into my side. It was pimps and hoes. It was because Aaron Mayette was one of the pimps, and I think the hoes were like me, Hafner, Hank. I think Hank was
Blaylock. Let's not forget Blaylock. Yeah.
Oh God! And it was one of the pitchers was one of the pimps. I can't think of his name. A skinnier guy. I can't think. Aaron Mayette was one.
Yeah, lefty. Wasn't he lefty?
Yeah. No, he was righty. He was a Canadian guy. I can't think who the other one was. Yeah.
And then Mike wants to know, what do you think about my background picture?
Where is it?
The virtual background that I got up.
Oh, I like it.
Yeah.
And then Grandma Zakari wants to know, Kev, during your time with the Joey, did you and your teammates notice any missing jewelry, cash, or their collectibles?
Oh my God.
Wow, they're claiming you up there with you're hanging
Oh
out with
well,
Winona
yeah.
Ryder, huh?
Well, it's just what happened to
I
me.
didn't have any jewelry or any of that stuff, so it didn't work. Didn't have to worry about any of that stuff.
I keep telling these guys, if I ever did anything like that, I would have been caught and barred out of baseball the rest of my life.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh yeah, for sure. The old Ruben Rivera. Remember that?
Yeah.
So when he came to when he got called up, when he came over, because we were in the old locker room, we had the metal lockers, right? So
Right.
they were, and we were talking, and he wanted it was right. It was after the whole Jeter thing with the glove,
Right.
and he had asked me for something. He said, "Hey, can I borrow some batting gloves?" I said, "Yeah, go ahead, go grab them." I didn't think about it in my locker. He looked right at me, and he goes,
Because he came through. There was something in AAA. I think he came through AAA with us. Didn't he? Wasn't he in AAA for a minute?
"I think so," but it was right after he stole Jeter's glove.
Right after, because he stole Jeter's glove. I remember it, and he
Sold
got. Yeah, he's because we caught the backlash of that in Oklahoma City. All that when that happened, man. I remember
really?
that now. Yeah, there was a lot because he came down to AAA for something, and the reporters were hounding him about the story. And I remember vaguely. Now that you brought it up, I remember. But there was some controversy with that, man. Do you remember Bobby Jones? Were you ever in the locker room when Bobby Jones would take a shower after the game, and he always had to drink his Coors, his bottle of Coors. I kept it in his cooler. He come out and he always would sit down with his towel. And the reporters want to interview Bobby. Goes, call that reporter in. But wait a minute. And Bobby could balance 2 fucking Coors Lights on his fucking balls. He'd pull his ball sack out. You ever see him do that?
No.
So
And he
I guess Rick from New York wants you to tell Kevin about your trip to.
Oh yeah. Oh, so recently I went to DabbleCon 2, which is a big show, a live performance about our community, where all the comedians were there. Like I said, it was in New York. What town was it in again, Lou? We were in Rochester, New York.
Yeah,
And
Rochester.
Rick from New York, who was a fan and became a good friend, I had never. He couldn't believe all my years working baseball. I'd never been to Hall of Fame, and being I was so close to Cooperstown, Rick bought the tickets for me, my wife, one of our other podcasters, one of my ex-clubhouse assistants, and one of our stars on our channel, Little Wani. And he brought us down to Cooperstown, and we got to go to Cooperstown. Then we drove a little bit more and met Rick at his hometown, and he took us out for pizza that night. It was my first time, and I tell you what, I'd go back. I need to go back 2 or 3 more times to cover everything. It was what an experience. Have you ever been to Cooperstown?
Yeah, I played in the Hall of Fame game 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago. We went up. My son and I went up. And it was, I think it was 3 or 4 years ago. They had just opened the baseball card exhibit. We were the first ones to see it. So we were out there and wanted that Honus Wagner card that's this big.
Right.
Got a chance to go up there and see that, and then just got a chance to wander around and see all that stuff. Like you said, there's so much that's there. The town is but getting there, there's nothing there.
No,
there's nothing around Cooperstown, right? They had those fields because they always had that giant baseball tournament where they'd come in forever, and they'll play till like 2, 3 in the morning. They said at that tournament, but there's just nothing else really around Cooperstown.
Right. It was. I mean, the town was pretty small. We got in the night before. We stayed. It was very expensive for a hotel, and we IRL streamed our whole trip there in the car. And like I said, people would send us. I mean, every one of our fans. I mean, there wasn't a need or want. We pull in to eat breakfast or dinner or lunch. Our fans would say, "Dinner's on us." Breakfast. They would send us PayPal and buy lunch on us and paid for our hotel. One guy that's in the Devers, he donates a lot of memberships and a lot of money to different podcasts. He paid my whole trip. He paid the rental car. He paid the hotel. I mean, there's a lot of good people in our community that, once you're monetized, there's a lot of opportunities. I ain't talked to you in 15 years. I got in a little trouble. I don't mind sharing it. My wife, who I've been with for 10 years, got in trouble with the government, and we got indicted, and my wife and I had to plead guilty, and I went to federal prison for 9 months, and my wife went down for 22 months or 30 months, and she did 18 months. in a federal prison with a FEMA from a hurricane. It took everything out of my life. I went for 9 months and was convicted in 2022. Was it 2022? I pleaded guilty, and I had no criminal record. I had no history, nothing to speak of. So I got a 9-month sentence, and she had a little bit of problems in her life, and so she did 30 months. And I tell you what, we lost everything. Our daughter died while we were in prison. We lost a child. I lost everything: our home, our car. We've been home for 2 years now. This happened. I got released in June. Kind of like Pete Rose. I went to a camp like Pete Rose did. He spent 9 months too in prison, and it was like a college camp for me. I was in Florida, but my wife went to an actual prison, and that's what happened to me at 58 years old. A mistake that happened that we regret, and we paid the price, and they hammered me pretty hard. I've been very open about my life, and I've been writing a book about my life and all my experience at baseball, and my trials and tribulations, and so just to give you up to speed, that's kind of what that's what happened to me. So it was a hardest thing to come back from at my age. But here I am, and I'm a survivor. But I took baseball very serious my whole life. Baseball saved me as a teenager. I keep telling these people, it's guys like you that took me under their wing. And I was around Pete Rose, Mike Schmidt, Willie McCovey, working in the visiting clubhouse in the big leagues with some of the greatest, Lou Brock, Mike Schmidt, all the Philly teams, all the Pirate teams from the set. And I mean, Bill Madlock, Dave Parker. These are guys that I idolized when I played baseball that saved my life as a teenager. Baseball. So I have allegiance to baseball. Unfortunately, I left baseball for a couple of years, gave up my position in the big leagues, and you know how hard those positions are. Those clubhouse guys, they die in those seats. They don't give up those positions, and they don't get fired too often. Very rarely will a clubhouse guy, he has to do something pretty raunchy, or somebody's got to come in that just wants to steamroll them out because they want to put their cousin or their nephew in. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I wind up in the minor leagues, which I spent 25 years in the minor leagues with some great teams, and I met a lot of great players, and I always took my job serious. I did the best I could. I had some great mentors, and look at it. I could call a lot of players up like I did you, and I'm a name they don't forget. They know me. We had good memories in the clubhouse, and I always was right to people. But in our community, they try to run with anything that's bad they find on you to make it out more than what it is. And so I was trolled hard my first 18 months when I came to the internet. So, but I survived. Fine. Here I am. But that's just exactly what happened to me. So
yes, sir, absolutely.
What's some of your? We got any more super chats to read, or we?
Yeah, right here on the screen.
Go ahead,
Mr. Mench. Does your son want to pursue your legacy? And then he asked one more.
I don't know if he wants to or not. He plays basketball and he plays baseball. It's just a matter. I think he's still growing. He's a sophomore right now, so I mean, they have on their JV team there are 41 players.
Really?
Yes.
So I mean, baseball.
Baseball.
Oh damn!
Wow.
Yes. Yes, there are a lot. So but he always talks about baseball. He wants to be baseball, but he loves he does basketball. He loves basketball as well. He just loves sports in general, but he plays basketball and baseball in high school. So that's he just finished up basketball and they're getting ready to start baseball now.
Think like you ripped? Is he ripped like you were?
Yeah, I think he is. I think he's 5'8", about 155 right now.
Awesome. What are you hoping that he wants to pursue baseball, or you just rather whatever he's going to be happy at?
Baseball might be the easier route.
Yeah, it just depends on what he wants to do. And most kids here, it's not like it is back home. A lot of your stuff, these guys are signed out, off of their summer teams.
Yeah,
because they play so much. So he'll go. So once baseball play here for 8 weeks, and then for the high school season, and then they go right into their their AAU basketball, and then their summer baseball, and they do all that through till August, and then school starts. I mean, we go nonstop with it. But yeah, I just don't know if he wants to. I think he's been around it for so long. There's down here in Dallas, there's so many celebrities. Dallas Fort Worth there's so many celebrities that he's around. Just being around that culture and
Sure.
seeing those guys. I mean, we used to do a big baseball game, a baseball game for Dirk here. Now we do a big charity event with, it's draw 300 celebrities that come out and play in this just to be around people and everything else. But there are people just everywhere here. You can't throw a rock without hitting somebody here.
Yeah. In your 8 years in the big leagues, what would you say your greatest moments were as far as who you played with as a favorite team? Would it be the Rangers, or I know you played for the Nationals?
I mean, I think
Brewers.
organizational wise, the Rangers.
Yeah.
Mr. Hicks took such good care of us.
He did.
He did an excellent job with us, and him owning the Stars too. So we got to become I did, really good friends with a lot of those guys, that through those Stars era,
The hockey team?
Madonna, Turco, Lukowicz, these guys that all played here, we see those guys all the time. So I mean, they'd come out, Steve Ott, they'd come out to spring training when we're in Arizona and they're playing the Coyotes. They come out and take batting practice,
right?
With us, just hanging out. So I mean, I think here Mr. Hicks took exceptional care of us with everything, the way he ran everything. So I mean, it was because he bought the team from President Bush, and then every time I see him at the ballpark, he's always, hey Menchie, how you doing? Good to see, just those are the kind of relationships you have with him, and to get a chance he took us to the White House my first year, got a chance to meet President Bush at that time. And then, like I said, we see him here all the time.
He was a character when he was a character before president when he owned the team. They said he was wild, from what I understand.
Yes, he was.
Go ahead.
Somebody asked me about the picture behind me. What does it look like? That's Wrigley Field with all the lights. That's Wrigley.
Was that the first night game? 8/8/88.
There's no lights up there yet. I think it's like I don't know what the meaning of it is, because there's no lights up above yet.
Yeah, because
my first 2 home run game was right here. Hit 2 off of Waveland. Yep. My rookie year.
Wrigley Field was like the dream ballpark for a lot of players. They loved coming to Wrigley. They loved playing Wrigley. Boston too. As far as Boston, a lot of players like to play in Boston too. So
you got to look at it like that. Back in the day, you play at Wrigley, you're playing a lot of day games.
Back in the day,
all your games would be early.
Yep.
Let's touch. I just want to touch it because I don't know how long you stay. We usually go. We're already 54 minutes into it. I know I don't want to take up all your time, but we usually go about an hour and a half. But as long as you're comfortable and can stay, just let me know how much time you got, and I'll get through this as quickly as I can.
No, we're good.
Okay, cool.
Can you see me? You guys see me?
No, we don't see you now. No, we lost you.
Oh, my bad.
There we go. Now, in 2002, you were inducted to the Rangers. You were the Rangers Rookie of the Year for the Rangers in 2002. Yeah. Tell us what that was like. That was basically your first year you came up in the big leagues, I believe. 02.
That was fun, interesting. I played the last 2 weeks of that season with 2 slightly herniated discs in my back. I didn't know about it until when I could barely walk.
Yeah.
After that year, but I had fun that year. It was just one of those, just trying to learn and be around the guys that I was around. Following them around, trying to be, and just having fun, understanding baseball in Texas, what it was like. I mean, being hot, and just having fun with it. You're kind of settling in, and everybody always talks about, everybody's the first time through the league, it's great, but it's the second time through, and everybody's seen you. Can you make the adjustments, and can you go from there?
Right. I want you to touch a little bit on, over the years working, you get guys that go up. Because the Rangers always stacked themselves in AAA with a lot of veteran guys that had 10 plus years in the big league that were sitting in AAA. So you had a lot of guys that when they get that big league atmosphere and they spend a lot of years in the big leagues, even if you spend a full year in the big league and they come down to minor leagues, I try to explain this. We don't have the budget unconditional in the minor leagues like they do in the big leagues. So there's been some players that I don't think there was every year I had one player that haunted me, that gave me trouble, horse shit this, horse shit that, and one of the players that I had was 2002 when we had Ed Sprague. Remember when Sprague was playing?
Good old Sprague.
Good old Sprague, and his little boy Jeb would be in the clubhouse, and he just didn't. The reason he didn't retire, he had bad knees. Sprague was done. He stayed for Jeb because Jeb was having so much fun, and he hung out in the minor. This is a guy that played 2 world championship teams. He was USA gold medal. His wife, Kristen, was a gold medal in swimming. This guy had done everything, but his little son, Jeb, 5 or 6 years old, liked hanging out in the clubhouse. So he did it for his son that year, before he retired. And he would play with my nemesis, the guy that who I was. Every time on the road, he would borrow money from me because he couldn't take money out of the bank because he was a gambler, was Jeremy Gonzalez. And he was so controversial because nothing pleased him in the clubhouse. He drive me nuts about my friend. 3 o'clock he'd come to the door and it'd be my nightmare. My friend, horse shit, no water in the cooler. I said, we could only put 3 cases out a day. Finally, he got me so nuts, I sent my assistant to go to Sam's Club to buy 20 cases of water and I jammed it in his locker. He couldn't even get dressed. And he come in, he goes, no, now you're not horse shit. He goes, that's better. So I'm waiting for him to tell me to put it in the kitchen. He tells me, you lock all that water up for me in the room closet. I took off for him, grabbed me by the back of the fucking shirt, and I'm beat red. You know how I used to get. I came out like a pistol, man. And I'm ready to kick the shit out of him. And I made a statement to him. I said, you should die by a lightning bolt. God should strike you. And he died from a lightning bolt some years later. Water skiing. Yeah. Struck by a lightning bolt that killed him.
No,
that has haunted me in baseball. My picture in the Dominican is in the clubhouse. It says Diablo. All the Dominicans came and started calling me Diablo, that I was the devil.
So Diablo Sandwich wants to know, Kevin, thanks for being on. I'm a Nats fan. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the organization and city from your brief stint there.
Learners are another good family. They
show him.
Me? Can you see me?
Yes.
No, we see you.
Okay. Yeah, Learners are a good family down there. I love you guys ever been down there?
The youngest grandson.
Little guy. Down there. I guess the way it's set up, that the stadium, that stadium's set up for like the old Navy shipyard. It's got that grayish, that hue to it. It's beautiful. I mean, I love being down there right on the water. Right there around. I used to go to RFK and watch football. Maryland play football down there at RFK Stadium.
Yep.
Being around there. I just love the city. It's the organization. It's been a while since I've been there. I think Rizzo's still the GM, right?
Yeah, I believe it's the Chicago guy, Rizzo. Yeah, from Chicago. Yeah.
He's still the GM. So I mean, it's organization wise, they took good care of us for where they were. I think that they moved too now. They're not in Vieira anymore. They're in West Palm.
Oh, they are in West Palm.
Yeah, because U-Trip took over then Vieira, all those facilities they had there.
Do you know Trip Keister?
Yep, he's a Delaware boy.
Yeah, I figured he was one of my managers in 13, and we butt heads. I was
where?
When Kelvin brought me in, they had a mess in Hagerstown. He goes, I need an experienced guy to clean that club up. It was a shithole, and it was owned by a guy that owned a bunch of golf courses, a nice guy. And I showed up there, and I turned a crappy clubhouse. I had both into a clubhouse. I mean, I uniformed we hung up the everything like the major leagues at the lockers when we did the uniforms, and they had a lot of young players that were. This is when the game started changing. I think when it started turning around 2013 for me, because I got sat down. Can you adapt to the new baseball? And I said, what new baseball? You hit the ball, you hit the round ball with a round bat, you hit it square. Where is the game change? Though the players, you're giving the players all the power, and this guy would go and he did whatever he wanted in the clubhouse, which set a bad precedent. And I tried to explain to the general manager, not the general, but the player development guy, who really liked me, and I forgot who his name was. Who was the player development guy when you were there? Do you remember his name? Rizzo brought him in.
Doug Harris.
Doug Harris. That's it. Doug Harris. That's what.
Yeah.
And Doug and I got along great because he brought me the AA to train the AA guy. Because the guy was new and first time doing it. I worked in spring training with the guy, but Trip Keister didn't back me. He was the only manager in my career that did not side with me on anything. He fought me on everything.
Really?
And yeah, me and him butt heads a lot. Me and Trip Keister. Wound up, me and him didn't speak the last month.
He was where was he? He was here in Frisco, man.
Right.
He was because now like minor leagues used to have three coaches, right? You had a pitching coach, a manager, and a hitting coach, infield guy. Now they've got like 5.
Right, like the big leagues. They got a bullpen guy. They got all this stuff, man. It's all changed. So I sat him down. I go, what do you mean change? I go, if you guys are going to relinquish power to the clubhouse, to the players, I'm retiring. I'm out. Because I always felt that I took it so serious. You graduate from A-ball to AA, you go to AAA, and you go to the big leagues, and you can't give them too much because you want them to enjoy the big league. I mean, for you, what was it like when you got called up? It was probably the greatest thing that ever happened to you. Explain it how you felt
now
that
they're
day.
letting them be a part of the union.
I just
What incentive do they have to get to the big leagues? That was my incentive. Wait, I want to be part of this union. I want to get out of here.
right.
Now
But
they're unionizing the minor leagues. Really?
exactly. And didn't you appreciate it that you got treated well in Double A and Triple A if you had experienced guys, but they didn't give you everything that you get because when you graduate, you want to see the difference from I tell people the difference from Triple A to the big leagues just on the spread alone and what's in the clubhouse. I mean, come on, it's like 7-Eleven in the clubhouse.
Yeah.
Okay, but you just posed a question. That was your goal to become unionized. When do you become a union member?
Become part of the 40-man roster.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, when you have a say with all that. That was the thing. Once you get put on there, and then once you get put on, then your service time starts.
Right.
Your service time starts once you hit the 40-man, because then as far as the big league stuff, I don't know if it's still the same now or what.
You know who's in charge of the minor league? Dick Beveridge did it for years.
Dick Beveridge. It's Cameron Lowe.
Cameron Lowe is the man now, man.
Yeah.
Good old Cameron. Great pitcher.
Oh,
yeah, I forgot about Dick Beveridge. Yeah, Dick was a good guy, man. Always see him dressed nice in his suit and stuff.
Always coming out and making sure every minor league player was signed up for their card. And I spent a lot of years working with Dick. He was good to me, treated me well. I'm a life member in the minor leagues. I got my gold plated thing, which gets you at any minor league ballpark. I mean, I don't know if that's anything today, but I lost a lot for the game, Menchie. I can't lie. When I left in 2015, my last year, my health has been deteriorating. I got a heart condition really bad now. Things have just really been on the down. But my wife and I, we try to be positive. We got our grandkids. We love our grandkids. I got 13 grandkids. I got my wife I've been with 10 years. I love her to death. She's basically everything for me. And but it's a struggle. It's like everybody else. We go through the trial and tribulation. But baseball, the game is like you said. It's so different today. I didn't even watch the World Series the last 5 years anymore. I just totally.
It's hard to watch.
It is.
Hey, it's Valentine's Day. Why aren't you out with your wife, Joe?
Well, we are. We got the grandkids. We're going as soon as I finish it in 20 minutes. We got a big night plan, and tomorrow we're going to Dinosaur World by taking my grandson to Dinosaur World. So
all right.
he loves dinosaurs. He's 6 years old. Our oldest from our youngest daughter, but it's great. But the game changed. I lost a lot of respect with all this new rules and the pitch clock, and now they want to have.
Joey, once again, the pitch clock actually helps.
Well, I don't know.
Look.
Don't get me on my soapbox about this because I hate it. I hate all the new rules.
Thank you, Benji. Thank you, somebody.
I don't like the fact that they made the base bigger to increase stealing. I think that's bullshit.
Oh my gosh.
The pitch clock I kind of enjoy because you would have some fucking hitters that would just sit there.
That's the game.
I get that. Look, Nomar, but fine them money, double it every time. That's fine because eventually then you suspend them, but you don't change the game. It's the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few.
Exactly.
Right, just like breaking up double plays and run the catcher. I had Donnie on my podcast one day, and we were talking about that. He said, Menchie, if that had been me behind the plate and not Buster Posey, they'd still be doing it these days.
Exactly.
It's called an occupational hazard for a reason.
Hey, you're gonna
dog. It's stupid. These rules.
Some take the hit, some can't.
Double plays. That was the thing. Guys knew to get out of the way. You knew they looked over there and knew who was at first base.
Yeah. Did that rule change after the Chase Utley slide in the playoffs?
Yep.
With the Mets?
Yep.
Yeah, so
I knew Chase really well. I had him in the Philly organ, but before I went to the Rangers, I had Chase all his minor league career in the Phillies. Chase was a first rounder. He had a great career. But now they're talking about this year in spring training. They're going to have not umpires. They're going to have robotic umpires.
Oh,
are you kidding me?
Oh my gosh!
I don't know how it's going to work. I'm not a fan of that one, but Mike wants to know what position do I look like I would have played, Kevin?
You? I don't know, Lou. You got to stand up. I got to see you.
So I'll give you background. I played Little League ball. I played catcher, third base, first base, and the outfield.
And you're about 6'2", right, Lou?
6'1" now. If I was to stay playing, it probably would have been. Well, I was athletic. It probably was to stay third base because I was
I
a
know,
hell
but
of a
I
third
got to see
baseman.
your body type. I got to look at your
Well,
body
I'm
type.
big and fat
He's
now.
big and fat now. He's an old man.
Well, are they asking if you can play right now? I'm like, you could
Hell
probably
no.
be.
I couldn't play right now for shit. I'll admit
That's
that.
like I can just see it. If you stand up, I go, okay, I could. Right now, you could probably be an offensive lineman.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he was a big guy. He
probably.
was a big boy. I'm a big
Yeah,
boy.
yeah. What
Menchie, if I
position does
stand
Lou
up,
look like?
Menchie, I'm
Man.
250 pounds. I'm 80 pounds overweight. I became a big boy.
I'm a grandpa now, man. That's my life. It's just tending to kids.
That's it,
Yeah.
man.
So I don't know.
And,
So maybe if you're a third base, that means you weren't very fleet of foot. You just had to have quick hands.
I was quick all around
Okay.
back then. Now I'm as slow as a turtle. I'll admit it that much. But I think my favorite position, and I dabbled in pitching one season.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was okay, but that was not my thing.
Mench,
And
let's
then you
talk.
got Trip
Go ahead,
Keister
Lou.
was a very wise man.
He knew his baseball. I'll give him that. Trip Keister was a baseball guy. He's
a Delaware guy too.
he is a Delaware guy. And I don't want to hold it against you because you're from Delaware. We won't hold Biden against you.
He's from Pennsylvania. Let's get this
I
straight.
thought he was from Delaware.
He's from Scranton, Pennsylvania. It's a coal
All
mining
right,
towns.
I'll give you that one.
He huffed too much of that soot from the coal mines up there.
You ain't lying about that, man.
He lived there. My brother used to hang out with Bo and Hunter.
Really?
They lived down the street from my brother. Yeah.
No kidding. I didn't know that.
So grandma's
But no, my family voted the other way.
Yeah, I know. Here's
Hey,
another
how you
grandma's a
vote, how
car
you
for
vote.
you. Go ahead, Lou.
Kevin, back then, did Joey still walk on all fours like that monkey, or had he started walking upright?
He had a slight hunch. I thought we would play with the hunchback in Notre Dame sometimes. I'd see him walking around the clubhouse.
I was
Yeah.
they see me get fired up. I've got I've done over 1,200 live podcasts, and I get pretty fired up with people. And I've fought with every troll. I've done it all since I've been on the internet, and I enjoy this. I enjoy when it's a big deal for me to bring a former major league player or someone that I had the pleasure of working with. So these are big deals. There's not a lot of baseball fans in the Dabbleverse, but they're being very. I asked them to please be respectful tonight, and they've honored that.
To you or to me? I don't care. You're not gonna hurt my feelings.
Oh, I know that, but I'm just saying. To me, this is a big deal having you on, and like I told Laird when Laird used to come on, Laird and I. Laird was like a greatest guy for me. We him and Danny Ardois, when I was on the road, we hung out together on the road at night, did a lot of crazy things. And you remember Ray Beasley?
Yep.
Yeah, Beasley was another crazy guy. Robert Ellis by far was the craziest guy in the clubhouse.
Ellis. Oh my gosh.
He was something else, man. Me and him, we were in New Orleans. He bought me that crazy suit I had on, and Doug Glanville was down rehabbing. Yeah, he went on a road trip with us, and Glanville was like, I never met a club he dressed as classy as this guy. He liked all my zoot suits I had. And, of course, R.A. Dickey, great guy, and R.A. came out with his story of his life, and that kind of touched me.
Man.
Yeah, good guy. And I'm glad he finally got to put some years in the big leagues. You know what happened to him. He played with you in the minor leagues, didn't he? When they signed him, he was going to be a #1 draft pick to get like $1 million sign-on bonus. And then what's his name? That pitching coach, I forgot who it was, noticed the bow in his elbow in the picture he took when they brought him up to Arlington to showcase him. And
no, he was born without a UCL.
Right, but they never noticed that when they signed him.
Until they did the MRI. They did the MRI and it showed he didn't have a UCL. They lost millions because
But the reason they did MRI because that one guy, the pitching coach, Bob, what was his name? Bob something, saw when he was taking a picture at Arlington, his arm was bowed in a way that it was odd. So he told him to have an MRI, and that's when they discovered that. And RA got shafted for $1 million sign-on bonus. But, he spent a lot of years in the big leagues, RA, and he became the knuckleballer, which, I
believe he won a Cy Young.
He did.
He did.
He had a pretty good career. I liked him when he was with the Mets.
Yeah, R.A. Dickey was one of my favorite. He's a very religious guy, very Christian man. We had a few of those guys like that. But one big question that guys ask me, Benchy, and I don't really recall any ever. A lot of people ask me on a regular basis, were there any gay people in the clubhouse? And were there any players? And I never noticed any player in my whole career that ever I could say that was in that capacity. If they
No.
were, they were pretty sheltered about
They
keeping
probably
it
sheltered
personal.
themselves.
They were. I mean, there's always guys jokes and stuff. You would like,
Right.
that guy's got to be. But no, I don't. Like, you've never heard or anybody say yes, I am, or you
Right.
can even tell.
Right.
Right.
You could tell exactly. I mean, guys, how was it when the players were walking around naked? You liked all that stuff. Are you crazy? I mean, that was just part of the job. But my neighbor's like, I can't believe I had one neighbor so crazy about the Detroit Tigers. I can't believe you go in the locker room. I'm like, it's just a job, dude. I mean, they put their pants leg on like you and I, you know.
First fight I ever saw, we were rookie ball. 2 Dominican dudes in the shower naked, fighting,
Oh, Lord.
throwing shampoo bottles at each other in Pulaski, Virginia.
Oh
You know
my
what
God! Wow.
Cool.
You know what Pulaski, Virginia is?
It's a small little hick town in the mountains, I believe. I believe it's
Off 81. It's 20 miles south of Blacksburg.
Yep. That was what
Yeah,
was that? The
so
Selly
2
League?
Dominican. Yeah, Appy.
Okay, the Appalachian League, Appalachian League. I was doing the Tigers still have the dorms. They have where the minor league guys stay in the dorms. They don't put them in a hotel. So
Yeah.
I had to go on 2 days a week in spring training. I had to go make rounds to make sure all the guys were in their rooms at a certain time. And I walk in and I go past the room and 4 Dominican guys were spooning naked watching TV. And it wasn't that they weren't gay. This is how people didn't understand when they came to us. They didn't speak no English. I remember in the minor league clubhouse, Chris Goose called me in. He goes, "Go look in the bathroom." The Dominicans didn't even know how to use the toilet. They were shitting on the floor. It was horrendous. And that's when the Rangers implemented to teach them English and teach them
Yeah,
all
I
that
remember
stuff.
that. The computers were in the clubhouse.
Yeah, that's right.
The first thing I learned, tiene mi cheque de sueldo.
Yeah, it
my
was
paycheck. That's what it was. I remember going to eat with them, and they're like, you can talk to them, and they're broke and whatever. They're
right.
in the Spanglish and tell them and everything else. But yeah, it was, and they'd always told us too. By the time they got to AA, they had to learn to speak English.
Correct.
They weren't doing interpreters anymore. Now you got guys in big leagues who can't speak a lick of English.
Exactly. And remember the controversy with all the birth certificates when they're coming over, they were changed. If they thought they were 21, 22, they wouldn't sign them. So they would come back in with saying they were 17, 18 years old with a birth certificate. Big controversy in the MLB.
Yep.
A couple things because like I said, we're getting close to. We got 16 minutes left and we're done. On June 30th, 2015, you hit 3 home runs. Tell me about that night.
The funny thing about all that, I never even thought about the 3 home run night. It wasn't until, years later after I was done playing, a guy came up to me. I think he was one of the Spanish announcers. He said, "Did you know you had hit your 3 home run game was in 3 consecutive innings?" I said, "What?" He goes, "Yeah, it was like the 5th, 6th, and 7th innings." They think it's only been the second time in Major League history that anybody's ever done that.
Wow. Yeah, I was reading that, and it was amazing. Not a lot of guys could say they hit 3 home runs in one game. I can tell you that.
And like I said, I didn't know I even did it in 3 straight innings. And I hit 2 of them off with the same pitcher.
Yeah, it's funny because you went over to Milwaukee. Obviously, Britt Reed took you over. I'm assuming when he was what's his name?
Reed Nichols.
Doug Melvin. You would because that's who originally guys that when you signed with the Rangers, they were the general managers and the player development guy. So I'm assuming you went over to Milwaukee for that 1 year because of them, because they knew who you were and they wanted you over there. But Darnell Coles, did you know who Darnell Cole was?
I think I played against Darnell.
Yeah. He had he had a night where he had 3 home runs in a game, and he had the same memory like you. He said, "I didn't even realize I did it." He said, "The game, he same way like you. You play the game hard. You try not to, you try to be as humble as you can." But he had the same. He goes, "I did it the wrong." I gave him a flashback, and then he went into that night. So it's a big accomplishment to hit 3 home runs. You hit 7 consecutive days of home runs as a righty. You were the first major league player to do that. You've got a lot of great moments in your career. Real quickly, greatest player you ever played with?
Greatest player by Alex Rodriguez. 5 tools. He could, shortstop by. He was a big guy. He could run. He could do everything. He'd do it all well. You know what Alex's kryptonite was? Pop-ups. Man did not want to catch a pop-up to save his life. We'd ever go out, in spring training, they'd pull out the pitch machine, they'd pop him up, and he'd run, especially and I'm in left, he'd run over there. He wants no part of it. He wanted no part of those pop-ups. And that was the only thing he did not like. But talent-wise, by far, he was. I played against guys. Albert Pujols, a good friend of mine. But Alex played a premium position, right? Stealing bases, he could do it all. And that's you see that now. I mean, Trout. I know Mike Trout did it for a while, but he's falling apart. And Alex had longevity too, right? And that's the thing. I mean, he played for a long time doing it. That's the thing. I got to see, got to play against Junior Griffey. Not in his Seattle years, but when he was in Cincinnati.
Right.
Gosh, I'm trying to think who else that really stood out. A kid that they did a story on that never made the big leagues, was killed in a car wreck. Brian Cole.
I remember Brian Cole.
Yeah, was killed in a car wreck on his way to Double-A after, I think it was 2001 season. Because somebody has a pair of my shoes, and I had written his initials on my shoes. That year. Brian was a good dude. I met him in the fall league the year before. No, we played against him. We played against him a couple years. So he and I were good buddies. Killed in a car wreck. Headed out to Double-A, wherever they were. But yeah, he's the great. I think the story was the greatest talent you never heard of.
Yeah, I remember him. Alex, like I said, I for the most part I got along with Alex. He treated clubhouse guys well. I told a story one day. People don't realize how personal your job is with the players and how you have to have a certain trust with players. It's a tough job being a head clubhouse guy and assistant, because you got to keep the front office happy, but you got to make sure you're loyal to the players without letting the front office know too much of what goes on. You hope that you got a front office that turns the blinders on and they leave the clubhouse guys run the clubhouse and they don't want to know nothing. But you get those teams where you got front office who are nosy bodies. They want to know everything about players. And it's tough because you're paid by the organization, but the players pay you more. I've always said the players were my bread and butter, even though I was a salary employee and I got a check. But if a clubhouse guy, I mean, what's your take? How important was a clubhouse guy to you playing in your career? I mean, you've got
really, they were really important, because a lot of the times guys, some were there just to be there, but other guys knew exactly, were kind of, they kind of worked for certain guys more than others because they took care of them, right? Hey, can you run? They'll run up and grab stuff, and hey, they'll go out and do whatever you needed because you took care of them. That's the biggest thing, right? Wanting to do that. That's what you want. And those were the guys, right? Because the guys are like, he doesn't do much for me. Well, do you do much for him? And I think that's what a lot of people don't get. But I don't know how they are today with him. As far
you heard
as
what happened. There's no more clubhouse dudes in baseball.
What?
Yeah, the White Sox coaching staff was on the road, lodged a big complaint about clubhouse dues to MLB. They launched a big investigation, audited a lot of clubhouse guys, and now the teams pay for all the meals, and they took away the clubhouse dues.
Wow.
They destroyed it for clubhouse guys, man. Which is a cardinal. I mean, listen, in the minor leagues, you don't make nothing. So if you're in AAA and you got a stacked team like I had, blessed with, and you took care of guys, like you said, they reciprocated well. I had guys that were, I remember in 2010, when I arrived there, when Bobby, when they called me to come back, and Bobby called me, goes, I hope you're coming in tonight. I go, I'm on the first plane out of here. And he said, we got a stacked team. I've had guys that were on the 50-50 split. They had $5.2 million contracts in the big leagues, and they were making I had 10 guys making over $2.4 million in AAA. And I had a stacked team, and they had a really bad clubhouse guy, and they needed, I knew what they wanted. And I came in and we took care of it. It was one of the greatest seasons I ever had. And those guys, money was nothing to them. And the rehabs, I mean, you talk about Brian Jordan. When he came down to rehab, BJ is one of the greatest guys to hang out with. One of the greatest guys. Yeah. And of course, you had a lot of Chan Ho. We had a lot of fun with Chan Ho because when they signed him to probably the biggest joke contract I've ever seen in history. Buck kept him in the minor leagues. They purposely DL'd him just to keep him out of the Arlington because he just couldn't pitch, and he didn't understand tradition. Glanville actually wrote him up in kangaroo court because he refused to buy a big league meal in the minor leagues, and he gave me $100. He goes, buy, and I go, $100. He goes, what do I need to spend? I go, $500, $600, $700 is what big leaguers come down and buy. Oh, no, $100. And Glanville told me, you don't buy a meal for this team tonight. And he did. He brought him up, and he was fined a lot of money up in kangaroo court. And then another guy that I grew up with, like a kid for the minor leagues, was $100. When a guy comes down to rehab, it's a tradition for you to buy the AAA team.
You're talking about like steak, fillets, and all kinds of stuff. Yeah,
give him a taste of the big league.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
What are you buying with $100? Some 39 cent hamburger.
It's a joke.
Yeah.
And I mean, Alex Rodriguez come down, give me his credit card, buy whatever you need to buy. I'm here for 3 days. Put it on my card. Laird come down. Laird was popping $1,000 a night for freaking spreads. Glanville guys like 5, 6. These guys were, and Chan Ho didn't get the concept. And I'm like, and then the newspaper came in to ask me about it. I almost got fired because I fucking talked about Chan Ho in the Oklahoman paper. And Bobby called me. He goes, "Oh man, they're beefing from fucking calling from Arlington about." I answered the question. What I mean, he just wasn't up to tradition. I didn't trash the guy. I didn't say nothing bad about it. I just, I caught controversy for that. Huh?
You referring to Chan Ho Park?
Chan Ho Park. It was a nice guy. Don't get me wrong. He was a nice guy. He just wasn't understand American baseball traditions. He just didn't. He's old school from his country, but they taught him. But the guy that I was one of my favorites, Blaylock, and Blaylock took a bad turn, I think, after he got to the big leagues. He went through some trials and tribulations, and I don't know if you remember. I don't know if you were with the team or you were already gone. I drove Blaylock's brand new truck for spring training in 2004. He had just bought a truck in spring training, and I went out the night before with everybody to say goodbye. I was driving to Oklahoma City, and I came out. I had a couple drinks, and I crossed over the line, and I got Blaylock's new truck impounded. He had just bought it. So I had to wake him up at 3 a.m. to get the bill of sale, so I paid to get it all out, and he had his stuff packed there, and I was a day and a half behind. Bobby was calling me, "Where you at?" They were already there. My assistants were there, and I had to take the truck to Arlington, and I made the mistake. I'm not gonna lie. I went to a fast food place, and I grabbed some McDonald's, and he found a French fry in his new car underneath his seat. Blaylock tore me up, tried to get me fired, everything, which wind up why Lombardo fired me was part of the Blaylock incident. And Gary Matthews Jr. went up there and said, "I'm not voting for this. Joe's treated me like gold down in AAA. You guys are crazy here." And he tried to make a big mockery in kangaroo court with me. He went to the organization, tried to get me fired. And then
I'm going to explain this kangaroo court thing.
Well, he could explain it better.
It's basically for all the dumb stuff guys do throughout the year, anything and everything. They bring it to the court, and they have judges, and then you have to pay a fine, and they'll have video evidence. I mean, they'll do it during like before the game. They'll have it before stretch. All right, kangaroo court tomorrow is in session, so they'll have judges, and then you got to pay fines and everything. And then they use the money for the end of the year. They have a party at the end of the year or whatnot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but you can get fined for bad base running, tripping over yourself, I got fined because of my baseball card had me giving Rafi a hug. So they're like, "All right, we're going to find," and they're like, because they have the evidence and you can't fight it. Sometimes guys will start getting pissed off too. They'll start fighting each other over it.
Yeah.
It's funny though. Yeah. You get in there and you got some, especially when they start bringing up the videos and they're like, "All right, here's video evidence of him, tripping over the base or something."
Yeah.
Right. And they deny it. Then your fine goes up.
Right.
So, yeah.
It's all players. The coaches are not part of it. It's just the players.
They'll get the coaches involved too.
Yeah. We did it in AAA. Bobby Jones. It was funny because they I think I got rolled up in AAA for something. It was funny, but it was a great time. I enjoyed it. Real quick. Up. Yeah, it was pretty hilarious, man.
But
you played with Ralphie Palmero.
These are the things that us regular people don't know about. That's exciting to hear.
Yeah.
So hearing about this, like you mentioned this kangaroo court now like 3 different times. Like, what the fuck is kangaroo court?
Yeah.
And now hearing about it is like, it sounds stupid, but it's hilarious.
It is.
It's funny. Like I said, it can get, and sometimes they usually do it before the game, or they'll do it if it's an off day, or so they usually won't do it on an off day. It's usually before the game, because I can't imagine if we were out there, if they're actually drinking doing it, because then dudes will get violent. I mean, they'll start. It's funny because it's just, so you'll hear some of the stuff out of nowhere. They'll accuse anybody of something, and they're like, wait, what's going on?
That's it.
And then you've got no chance to defend yourself. But yeah, they dress up in robes, they got gavels, they got everything.
Real quickly, I got to show this little thing about a home run contest you did. I don't know if you got this.
Center field and deep, but gonna fall short. 2 out of 8. 1 out of 6 now for Kevin Mench.
Yeah, but like sides over here, sides over there.
Cooperstown.
There goes Pete Webb, way back there. That ball is gone. but gonna fall short. 2 out of 8. 2 more. Off to the left.
That was what happened here. That was it. So yeah, tell us about a little bit about that. That was at Cooperstown, you said?
That was the Hall of Fame game. They did the home run derby up there. Like, you're in the home run derby. I said, what? What? You want me to do what? So
that was the one you took about 4 years ago that you did when you took your son down there? Geez, you still could swing the ball pretty good, pal.
It's different, though, being in the box. I think we had, God, I'm trying to think who pitched that day. We had 2 sinker ball guys throwing. That's the last thing I want throwing. If I had seen a baseball, it was Jason Marquis was pitching for us. And, gosh, I can't think of his name. I'm drawing a blank. He pitched with the Padres sinker ball. I can't think of his name right now, but I'm like, this is great. Found something off my foot. So you just go up there and just start hacking. It's one of those things. Guys are throwing hard, but they're just like they're not trying to strike you out. They're just throwing it over plate here. It's just a fun game to have and be up there. It was beautiful though. I mean, it's like 40 degrees in the morning, and then by game time it was like 75.
Oh, I got a couple more questions for you. You can touch brief at it.
Before you continue, let me get this out of the way.
Let's get the super chats out of the way because I got to wrap it up.
Bo Beerington, been a Texas Rangers fan my whole life. Thanks for the memories, Mench, a.k.a. Shrek.
Right. Thank you. Is that we hit them all, Lou? No super chats.
There's a few that we haven't hit, but they weren't.
Let's get them out of the way real quick so we can.
All right, so
I don't know. You've been doing it, so I lost track. So
you hit Mike's shitty. Not Mike. You hit Rick from New York Evening Boys.
That one, yeah.
This one here is Joey C more than is real. Is Joey C more real than Fat Trick? Woo! Not surprised. This is for Lou though. Can't give money to a Shuli D rider.
All right, that's good.
Let me see. I think there's one more. We did that. Yep, that's all of them.
Okay.
And then here's Diablo, member for 1 month.
Thank
Kevin
you for being
asked Joey about his thumbs for Valentine's Day. Joey has magical thumbs.
Oh my God, here we go. Well, I got a heart condition, so personally, I told the story. I went to my heart doctor and I live streamed. And my biggest problem is with my heart medicine, certain parts of my body stop working. I got a wife 17 years younger than me, so I had a lot of concerns about that. Me being 60 years, so I had to get Viagra, and so I made a joke about my thumbs work really good. They're like powerhouses since my rod has broken, and so that's what that question's about. So. I have no holds bar. I talk about my life. I talk about all my mishaps. I was a big Howard Stern fan, and Howard taught me if you're gonna make it or you're gonna really try to be interesting, you got to tell it all. You got to be able to tell your whole life, and I don't hold nothing back. Favorite place to play spring training, is Arizona better than Florida?
Travel wise, it is. Travel wise, it is now. For sure. I mean, Arizona used to go to Tucson, have to play the White Sox, Diamondbacks, and somebody else. But now I think the farthest trip is Mesa to Surprise.
Right.
That's 40 minutes. So I mean, it's not that bad. Florida. When we were in Florida, you know how it was. You had to go to Sarasota, Fort Myers. You had to go to Fort Lauderdale.
Right.
For the Orioles. Now everything's kind of a little bit, easier and more compact. I know, Dodgers used to be over in
Vero Beach,
but they're not there anymore. So I mean,
they moved to Arizona. The Dodgers.
Yeah, I mean, Florida. What you're going to get. You're going to get rained out. You're going to get rain at
more humid
every day. Yeah, and Arizona, you're not. I liked Arizona better. The weather. I didn't play as much golf when I was in Florida as I did in Arizona.
Yeah.
So.
Did you ever play golf with Laird? Laird likes to gamble big time.
Oh my gosh, we were playing in Surprise, and it was me, Laird, DeRosa, and somebody else. And Laird hit a ball screaming right into some dude's plate glass window. And he's over there. He went in there and asked if he could play it out of his living room.
Laird was.
That's funny.
They used to call him Corky. Because that was his nickname, Corky. Do you understand where I'm going with that?
He wore a Kobe jersey one day, and they cut the number 8 out of it. Oh gosh, he was always running his mouth. He lost a boatload of money playing cards. That boy, wow.
He lost a boatload of money playing golf, and he would play in 10,000 when he got to the Tigers. and he was the starting catcher and signed a big contract. He was playing $10,000 a hole. This guy he would call me up because Laird took good care of me when I was with the Tiger. Every time he came into town to play the big league team, he made sure I had a suite at Vinoy. He put me up at the Vinoy. I worked in the minor leagues. Laird and I kept probably closest to. He just got remarried. He runs 7 baseball camps.
In Arizona, Scottsdale.
In Arizona, right? Yeah. That's what he's doing. He tried coaching. He did it for a couple of years, but he likes what he's doing. He got remarried. He's got a new wife. I want to touch on. You played with Ralphie Alpavero, one of my dear friends, one of my favorite players. But Ralphie had a way of doing things that was different from most players. I've shared some stories with Ralphie, but Ralphie was a great player, but Ralphie was a guy you had to really. He was the Viagra guy. You remember when were you in spring training when he got all the cases of Viagra sent to him?
Yeah, they told him he was here because they had it set up out here, and they had Rafi's Viagra crew, and they told him they couldn't do that.
Yeah,
right. He lives right down the street from me. I talk to him all the time.
Yeah, I hung out with him quite a bit. Me and him, because I had him with the Cubs, and when he got taken out of the Cubs because of personal things that happened with him and Sandberg, and but he was one of my favorite guys to hang out with. This guy was a star. He had a great family. Could have any girl he wanted in the world. They loved him, and he was just an all-around good guy. But a lot of players had controversy with him. I don't know. All I can say is, Mench, coming on tonight, you did me a solid. I want to touch your other neighbors, Josh Hamilton. You say you talk to Josh once in a while. How's he doing?
It's been a while. It's been a few months since I've seen him. He seems like he's doing pretty good. He's remarried. And just kind of keeps to himself, really. I try and stop over there when I drive past. I just pull in the driveway behind him, and he kind of gives me a look for a second. Then he realizes who it is, and so but he's doing good. Just trying to hide from everybody, really. Just kind of staying away from everything.
He was a good dude, man. He was slated to be one of the biggest powerhouses in the game if he didn't have to go through his trials and tribulations. Like I said, Menchie, I've known you many years. I haven't seen you in 15. Look quickly. You have a podcast. You work for a network, don't you? That you do the baseball end.
Yeah, we're trying to get it back going again. It's called the Big Head Pod. Just trying to get things set back up now. So
that's good. You were handling the baseball end.
No, Joe, it's been a good week for me.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, I know that. I know you love it. I know you love. You still look like you're in your 25, 26.
But I feel 86, Joe. That's the problem.
I know.
My body hurts.
I can't thank you enough for coming on and staying with us an hour and a half. You did me a solid. If there's anything I ever could do for you, you got my number. If you could send me Bobby Jones's number, I'll send you those videos I got. I'll do that tomorrow when I'm go out with the family night. If you could just send me Bobby Jones.
Text me and remind me when we're done as soon as we hang up.
Okay, buddy. I want to thank anybody got any last minute questions for Menchie here. We thank you for coming on, man. You spent an hour and a half, and I'm grateful. Like I said, you're one of my guys. I'll be there till the day I die if you ever need anything, buddy. You know that.
Yes, sir.
Give my all. I love you to death as a friend, and you're one of my favorite players. And I thank you, Lou. Any final thoughts for Kevin?
No, thank you for coming on.
I appreciate it, Lou. No problem, man. Anytime you guys want to talk some smack, I'm good at it.
You are the best, Menchie. You are the best. We love you. And that's a great Kevin Mench. You guys can watch him. He does have a podcast. They're trying to bring it back up, and we thank you very much for coming on, Menchie. Thank you.
Thanks,
have a great and lots
enjoy your Valentine's Day, everybody.
I will, buddy. I will. Try my best. Thank you, everybody.
Right,
thank you. Bye, Kevin. Thank you.
See ya.
All right, people. We're gonna wrap it up. The great Kevin Mench. We love you, Lou. Take us out. We thank you for all tonight, and we'll see you guys. When do we stream again, Lou? Our show is Sunday with the members only, and then Monday I'll be streaming tomorrow night doing something. I came on a little bit late. I woke up. My grandson woke me up for his feeding at 3:30, and I did an hour podcast in the middle of the night last night. So we love you guys. We'll see you. Thank you for everything. Take us out.
And now, as the curtain falls on Joey C. and Lou the Monster in the evening, they're the evening guys, but they're clocking out. Let me tell you how they do it. Joey C. Wrapping up another show like a champ, unscathed from the steel cage. A two-time heavyweight champion of radio, signing off. The mighty mic dropping average. the voice, the vibe, the legend, the myth, the men, the man, the vibe. See, the closer this evening, Maestro John. Oh, see, little Jim there, fuck yeah, just go past it in prime time. Lou the Monster, the Sultan of sign-offs, the beast of the broadcast. Together, they rule the night. Joey and Lou. They brought you the laughs, the talk, the truth, their words, dancing like shadows in the twilight. And as the stars take their place, they leave you with echoes of wisdom, wit, and a bit of mischief.
40 more seconds.
The evening fades, but the memory remains. Because somewhere, it's always evening. And Joey and Lou will always be your guides when the night calls. So until tomorrow, or whenever the airways beckon again, this is Joey C. and Lou the Monster in the evening signing off. See you next time!